So the shir is being sponsored today by Le'ilu Nishmas Yosef Meir Ben Melech, by Ari Waldman and his wife.
Amen.
So Shav Elias and Neshama.
Amen.
So the first shaila today is it's a shaila Beis Nissen. So what kind of connection to Beis Nissen? So there is a thing from the Rebbe wrote that his father-in-law had a kpeda that when you give a name to a baby for the name of a tzaddik, for the name of one of the Nesiim, not to mimetzaref another name with it. It's a big discussion always in Chabad. Sometimes you want to add 2 names, 3 names.
Three different people.
And then this hira is like an interesting hira. So someone asked me, he wants to give a name of one of the Nesim, but he also has a Zayda that has the same name. Derek Moshul, today is the Yom Elula, the Stalkus of the Rebbe Rashab. So he wants to give a name Shalom Ber, but he also has a Zayda with the name Shalom Ber. So is he allowed to have both in mind? Because the Rebbe says that his father-in-law was makpid, they shouldn't be mitzad of the name of someone else with the name of a nasi. But here it's not a different name; it's the same name, but he's having kavona both. So recently I got this shaila, and this shaykhus today is Beis Nissen, the stalkos of the Rebbe Rashab. Also, the shaykhus to a question that I recently had from the Fegel family, and they asked a few shaylas. We changed the name from Shmuel Fegel to Chaim Shmuel. And they were asking how to do in the Matzeva, which we spoke about last week. They're also asking Mitzvah Shem when they'll have children. They don't like the name Chaim Shmuel. They just want to give the name Shmuel. Does that make sense or not? Now, we established last week that when you change a name, I know there's a folklore that if a person wasn't healed, that the name doesn't stick. But if a person lives for a whole year and he's Oilul L'Torah, a lot of times it's not kosher to say that name didn't stick. If a person write a get and not have the name inside, I'm not sure that the get would be kosher, even the Yevid. But the Sheilos is like I've been giving a name. What's the so L'Choida? And one svara there is that when you add a name, it becomes a new chefza, a totally new name. Many years ago, we dealt with the Shaila once. There's a famous Tzemach Tzedek in the Piskei Dinim Tezayin. There's a Rabbi Yehuda Chassid who says that the father-in-law should not have the same name as the son-in-law, and the daughter-in-law should not have the same name as the mother-in-law. Actually, the daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law is much stronger kpeda than the man. Yeah, much stronger kpeda. And there's more, and there's a lot of reasons of why it should be a stronger kpeda. But the bottom line is, the Alter Rebbe said that that comes from Sefer Chassidim, and that's all from the Arizal. And we by us, Longenom, and anything that's from the Arizal is mamish is Toidem and Hashemayim.
What could be the reason for the man? I can understand the woman. I'll submit to it.
I don't want to deal with it now. I just want to use it as another different. But the bottom line is that the Tzemach Tzedek said that the Alter Rebbe once said there were 2 people that wanted to make a shidduch, and the name of the kala and the name of the mother-in-law were the same. So he said they should add to the kala name, because by adding a name it becomes a new chefetz, a new thing. So here you could say if you add or subtract a name, so it's not the same thing anymore. Again, you ruined it. And people say it. I'm not just saying it, but people say it, that it's not a bad svara. So especially when there are parents that like to get involved in the naming of their grandchildren, and I want this name. Don't add any other name. You're ruining it. Or v'chulu v'chulu. Or b'chlal. So what's taka the thing? If you're adding a name or subtracting a name, are you ruining the whole thing? You're not giving a name for the person or not? So I was thinking of 2 things on this issue. Number one, the beautiful tshuva I found from the Minchas Aluza. So there's a tshuva, the Minchas Aluza to a Rav, who said that there was a story of a father who passed away, and his son's bris was in the day of the father's levaya. So he said that he held up the levaya until after the bris. Why? Because he said, because it's brought that it's a kedai to give the name of the child of his father, and by giving the name, you're giving the neshama, and we know that the neshama stays around the body until it's buried. So how could the body go from the father to the son So he paskin that they should first do the levaya and then they should do the bris.
There's a master with Menashe's name also, the same thing, no? Why was he late?
And that wasn't because they waited for someone. They waited for Saeed to come. Amaisa.
No one knows exactly.
No one knows. It wasn't that he waited for the
I thought
neshama.
they waited for the
I'll be mine. Now that you said Blined, I'll be mine. And if I find, I'll share it next week. But I don't think so. But I'll look into it.
Zealots will know.
Someone's gonna know. Today, it's not hard to find stuff. Yeah. So good. The Minchas Loza said you made a mistake. It's totally gehalten. A beautiful long tshuva. He says, when you give a name to a child, what do you think? You think you're taking the neshama from one person and giving it to the other person? He says, how about there's a big tzaddik, as it's thing an Eden, and a Rosh Gomer is going to give his child a name for that tzaddik. And that's like cute. The Minchas Loza had this, sometimes it's like, what do you mean? He said, it doesn't make sense. He says, that's not the pshat. When you give a name, you're not forcing the neshamas to go up or down or backwards or forward. He says, when you give a child a name, it's an inyan seguli. It's an inyan seguli that he's carrying a very choshev name. And maybe the child also, when the child grows up and knows that my name is Aaron, it's named after Aaron HaKoyen, that my name is Moshe, named after Moshe Rabbeinu, my name is Yosef, it's named after Yosef HaTzadik. So get that simple in the heart, you think, and there's a schus, and there's a connection, but not like there's a direct line, like as if you've done the levaya after the bris, then the schus is not there. It's not true, he said. And I was thinking about this. The truth is, there's two ways to look at the kibbud of giving a name for a zayd or a baba. Is it just kibbud of, or is it tak? In other words, is it the covet of the grandfather or the covet of the grandchild? If it's a covet of the grandfather, then what's the difference if you took one of his two names? It's still a covet for him. And what's the difference if you mitzad of it with another name? It's still his covet. But if you say taka that you're taking the neshama, so you're playing games. You're taking half his name, you're taking half of his neshama, you're mitzad of it to another name. Well, what are you doing? You're playing games. So
why can't the neshama come if it's not the exact name?
Because you can argue about this. You couldn't say Meir Tesi, but you could say, what do you mean? The guy has two names, and the neshama has a sheilos to these two names, and you gave only his name, Shalom Devben, and you only gave Shalom. So you're missing half the koyach of the neshama. Someone could argue. Someone could say, no, it's not true. But I'm saying, but according to the
it's not covered because you gave only part of my name. My name isn't that. It's not my name. But I'm saying, but if it still gets part of the neshama, and you name that name, why do you have to get the exact name?
Right, forget. I'm saying, according to the Minchas Elazar, that the whole that's not that you're taking the neshama from one person putting to the other. It's a seguli. Right. Okay, so you say instead of shalom debe, you take shalom.
But you can still have a hakpah because if a person says I'm named after Pechka Mechka, why didn't you give me Mechka? Why did you take away Mechka?
Because
no, I'm saying the guy's thinking he's named. If we're saying it's just a seguli and the guy's going to think about who he's named after, you can still see it, even that's felt in that regard because Mechka is missing. He's going to think maybe he's named after. Moshe Rabbeinu, and not Moshe Amshanov.
It's hard for him to deal with the name Petchke. Once you have a name Petchke too.
Doesn't Ari say that you shouldn't name after somebody that passed away young?
Yeah.
Unless he was a great tzaddik.
Or he's a Kaddish. First of all,
the Arizal himself was passed away young.
Yeah, and you see people named after him.
And the Minchas Elazar also was involved in a naming incident. His grandfather was the Bnei Sosker, and the Bnei Sosker was named Tzvi and not Tzvi Elimelech. Are you going to speak about it?
No. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
The end of one of his
Zayda, right? It was Tzvi Elimelech, and Rabbi Melech said to his niece that you're only going to get half of my neshama.
Right.
Right. She wanted to name him while he was living. His grandfather wanted to name his grandmother wanted to name his grandson. Her son after the Tzvi Elimelech, and she only gave half the name.
Very good. And he brings the story in the Tshuva to show.
To
show he tells us the story is not stam a story that's told. He says in the Tshuva.
It's about me, right?
He says the Chmai Mishpocha.
Right.
It's his Zayda. He says, and he said, it's a raya that it can't be that the neshama is going because the
Rabbi had it. Oh, he was alive.
Melech was alive. He said, if it's the whole thing is that you're giving the neshama and you have to wait for the person to be buried, it was a few years before he was nifted, and he was makpid. His sister didn't give the full name. She added a name
He was afraid her uncle couldn't go.
Yeah, she was afraid. And then he was makpid on that. He said, like what a shame. It would have been better for your son to have b'diuk my name. So, okay. The emphasis is that, so you see a raya fakert also. But
Rabbi, my daughter was born, my granddaughter, 10 years ago. My mother-in-law was in the hospital with my mom is. She was upstairs, I think the 4th floor, and my daughter gave birth downstairs. The mother-in-law passed away at 10 o'clock at night, and my daughter gave birth 11 o'clock in the morning. Oh, you mean the same hospital, one up, one down? This is so we gave her the name, and she has the same character like my mother-in-law.
Wow.
so you see the neshama does go over.
It's unbelievable.
Arai lister.
Stop to say that the red people.
I think it's good.
Right, the parents not to mix in because an avu ktana. Another thing, so this is one thing. Just to Nachamal, just to summarize. So this is true from Minchas Elazar. He says that people think that you give a name, it's a direct thing that neshama goes from one. He says lav dafka, and as the story he said from his zayda that the Noimal Melech said, give my name, and the sister was choishish to give the full name, and he said it was no big deal. As that it's not mamash atokas anashama. Elamai, it's in the seguli.
But it could be that he held that chaparayim. In other words, it could be that you get the neshama. Just in this case, it wasn't shy because he was living. It's not a right that it's not the neshama's not coming because he was living.
I know, but Minchas Elazar brings it as a raya.
Right, I'm saying, I don't understand.
I understand. You're asking.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a cloud. Okay. Another thing is, interesting thing in Tiv Gittin. Tiv Gittin is probably the most choshev sefer in the names of Gittin. There's a lot of svarim that are dedicated to Shemus Gittin. But in the Tiv Gittin, he has a whole, and brings a machloikis, a person that has two names. Avram Yitzchak, Reuven Shimon is his name. When you write it in a get, do you put a space in between or you don't put a space in between? There is a shit that holds, you write it with, just whenever you have two words, there has to be the space of a full ois in between two words. So
Otherwise it becomes one word.
Otherwise it becomes one word, right? And it's the kashas of a Sefer Torah is told in this. So how it happens when a person has two names in a get. So there is a shita that holds that you have to write both names without a single space in between. You have to write Avram Yitzchak without a kamloi ois between the Avram and the Yitzchak. And because a person doesn't have two names, a person has two names. There's one name. There's two parts of the same name. That's what the Maribal says. And that's the shita. No, it's not that. That's not that law. That's not that law. He says, look at look at the paragraph number 4 here on this page. Teda, kosa b'tiv gitin. You see the first word of the paragraph is teda. Teda, re kosa b'tiv gitin. In the ratio put the shemes of cotton bay, the marival, kos svira la dechol shom shemes alei the averu and shim nas and mila mokeves the shem chadu. V'yesh lichtoi kois v'chat teda. לפי הנס דאיתי אדרבה, גם לכתחילה יש נכתוב בייס טייבס. למקור דאיתי דאוכם ניתנו השמס הלולו שלא יהיה אחד ממש, כמה שניתנו לו על שם שתי מותי עובץ ורצוינה שכל אחד יהיה שמוי לזיכורן. He says, it doesn't make sense. He says, why do people, how does Klal Yisrael get this thing of giving two names? Because they said we want to give a covet for two grandparents, or for two choshev people. And so you know what? Let this one child carry the name for two grandparents. So there was for two grandparents, and the one had the name Avraham and the one Yitzchak. So you have to leave Faket. That was the whole idea. So we see from here, obviously, that Faket, the whole meaning of having two names, is bidiyuk, this thing that is for two people. That's why Taki you put a ois in between. So obviously, there's nothing wrong when you give a child two names from two different grandparents. And I would say that the same thing would apply also lahefach. That if the grandfather had two names and you take one of them, still a covet. Maybe it's a bigger covet, a bigger schus to give both. Taka the noim of the melech was makbid, but it's not like it's all or nothing. I would say it's not an all or nothing. It's not an all or nothing. It's still a covet. It's still. So you get bottom line. You could give two names to a child for two grandparents, or you could give it from a grandparent that has 3-4 names. You don't want to give a child such a long name. You give him one of them. It's still a covet.
What about someone who does something like to embarrass his son? He gives him like 8 names, like a guy did recently in Crown Heights.
8 names?
But imagine the
Chazon Ish was very makbid that you shouldn't give a child names that
embarrass him, right?
Yeah. You shouldn't give a child. That's why, by the way, you find Taka in the Yeshiva Sheilos in Eretz Yisrael, you don't have names like the juicy old Yiddish names.
Zundel.
Yeah, you don't have that. There's not.
Zund official? They don't have Zund official?
Nah, they don't have. They don't have. You don't have such names. No one's walking around with the name Yenta over there in the Lutzer Sheilos. Because he was very makbid. He said that you shouldn't give your child names.
What about Yenta Risha?
There was
Sure
a
not.
nice road that was going to the old man stopped and asked him to name for his
Official and
Yeah,
Risha.
he said a lot of
He
names.
gave 20
So we're not
names
gonna
and then
name-
he
we're
came
not
back
gonna
and
name
he
our
told
kid
you
Fish,
gave all the
official.
names.
The license to get schmutz.
What about having in mind for
Oh, so what I have about having in mind for a Rebbe, I don't think that's. If you'd say it's Atokas on Neshama, so it's confusing. If you're giving the child Neshama, you've out of Ben Kodesh L'Chol. But if you say that it's a Kovid, so you gave the child a name, Shalom Ben, L'Kovid, it's not a bil. If you say it's a Neshama thing, so you're schlepping a Pastu Neshama, Ben Kodesh L'Chol. But if you're saying that it's a kovet, so it's a kovet. The fact that you also thought, besides Shalom Debed, that you thought for a grandfather, his name is Shalom, it's not Hepach HaKovet to the... It would be Hepach HaKovet if together with the name Shalom Debed, you would say Shalom Debed, Zundel. Zundel Shalom Debed. But if you're not adding Zundel to Shalom Debed, but you're only having in mind for a Zayda who had the name, I can't see that it's Hepach HaKovet. I can't see it's Hepach HaKovet. It's not a Neshama thing that we're playing. It's a Schus and a Zguli, but I can't see that should be the Hakpodah. The Hakpodah was that it's a Tzaddik, because everyone knows the name of the Tzaddik is Shalom Deiber, and you're saying Zundel Shalom Deiber. It's like, how do you put Zundel with Shalom Deiber? But if you're just giving name Shalom Deiber, and you also have in mind the Zayda, I don't see that it's the Hepach HaKovet.
Just one thing, there's a tzaddik list that works in Isaac's name is Zundel. Like 30 years. It's a good man, he's a good man. I want to ask one thing. Even if you say that you're giving the neshama of the tzaddik goes into the child, and if you have to give 2 names, it's not really the tzaddik. What if you have to, why could 3 tzaddikim go into the neshama of the child? Let's say you gave the name Moshe, Aaron, David.
Yeah,
all 3 of the tzaddikim.
Yeah. It's just that in this case, if you say it's Atokas Neshama, how could you mix Zundel with the Neshama of the Zundel, the Neshama of Shalom Deber?
Right.
But
maybe Zundel.
No, I'm sorry. I'm saying if you had the Zayda whose name is Shalom Deber and the Rebbe Shalom Deber, how do you mix two Neshamas like this Kodesh and Chayil?
Right, but why is it a? I mean, every minyan we say we're mishpatet. There's no big and small in a minyan, so maybe it's out like a minyan. The Rebbe will still be sitting in the Mizrach and Shalom Deber, the other Zayda will be sitting in the.
Lepoil the Friedkin Rebbe was mashma. He said not to be Metzora another name.
Right.
And also these are the words.
If we say it's not al covet, he's going to have in mind, just like he has in mind both. He has in mind that there's still a period in their greatness.
Okay, look.
I want
the bottom line. The bottom line is the feed. These are the words. Look at the top of the line here. Kosev Rabbeinu Shar Halacha Minin. Banager l'shemes anasim lo yirotz kved kedushas moed v'cham ad moed she'etzaref l'shmeseim oid shem. He didn't want to shemetzaref another name. First of all, the words itself mashma that he didn't want to shemetzaref another name. It sounds like you're machaven for the name plus someone else. That wasn't the problem. These are the words. Lo yirotz she'etzaref l'shmeseim oid shem. So,
do we have any other instances though throughout the Deiros? Did you find in any of the Deiros where like other other tzaddikim had the same akbada? It's a new akbada.
Not the Metzora?
Yeah.
I didn't see anyone. No.
So this is like a
You see from this Galus Torah of Hashem that there was
A lot of interesting things.
right, exactly.
Was that, Rabbi, let me ask you, all these are...
So this is one of them.
Right, and especially because you understand that Al-Pi Kabbalah, Pi Chassidus, there should be a koch in the names because they have shaykhs to Neshama, and to Chayis, and the Oisius. I mean, as much as the Minchas Elazar is trying to say, listen, you can't start holding back a Levaya just because you start thinking Neshamas, but the truth is that we do understand that the Neshama has a shaykhs to the Oisius in the name, and it may have a Medayik Bishma, it's even have a Gerai in the Gemara that is Medayik, and the Medrash says that Adam Rishon was Chachma was more than the Malachim because he knew how to give names. What's a big Chachma? You just throw out names. Elamai because he was able to see Sheilos and Neshama, which Oisius, and the Neshama has a shaykhs to the Oisius. And the Rebbe says that it's from the Arizal, that's an Abu Aktana, therefore you shouldn't mix into parents' business when they're giving a name to a child, because what are you mixing in? It's an Abu Aktana. So the Rebbe said it is a Himmel Likazach, so we need guidance of tzaddikim to tell us on such things. But okay, the Minchas Laws are saying that you can't start holding back a Levaya from this.
Rabbi, I have a
all these rules, is it just to differentiate us from Goyim? The Goyim are like the kings, Louis the 5th, 6th, 10th, 15th.
No, it's true.
I mean,
It
what would be the reason?
Well, there's a medrash that says that the Yidden went out of Mitzrayim that they kept their Jewish names, Reuven, Shimon.
Okay, so there's Nachman, Senior Nachman, Junior Nachman.
No, that's a separate thing. By Ashkenazim, we don't do that for whatever, because the Sfardim consider that as a covet, and the Ashkenazim consider that not a
the
covet.
biggest cover.
Right.
Some Spartan, the children have the fathers.
Right. And some of the grandparents.
Oh, that's a whole new shir, Rabbi.
Yeah.
Spartan give for living.
In my name,
Yes, a part of.
I have my son
You
Abraham,
can't have the same name as a shir.
his son is Sasson, and my father was Abraham. So we maybe 7 or 8 generations, 3 generations alive.
Very nice. Yeah, like he said.
What name Abraham ben Abraham?
Abraham.
Okay, someone asked a question. His wife was Oina Beilenis, and then she forgot to do a bedika. Okay, so forget to do a bedika. Then you do a bedika whenever you remember. But the Weibler, she took a shower and a bath, chulu v'chulu, and he heard that there's an issue over here. So is there an issue or there's not an issue?
In English.
She didn't do the bedika. Day 30. No, Oina Beilenis, a woman must do big boydish.
Oh, she doesn't know what
And she didn't be boidik. She has to be boidik. On a oina beininus, you have to be boidik. And if you're not boidik, you can't be with your husband until you're boidik. So the din is, if she's not boidik that day, she can be boidik the next day. But in the meantime, she took a bath. And
which messes up the bedika.
There's a shita that holds. There's a machloikis, a poiskim. There's a shita that holds that if a woman took a shower or a bath in between, so then it ruins, and because she's mechuyev to the bedika, that's it. It's all over. So might as well. It's over. So, but anyway, she's going to eventually. She's not going to start counting now Shiva Nakiyim because no one's cycle is more than 35. She has to have a cycle of 50 days to start counting now Shiva Nakiyim. So forget about it. So it's over. Wait till the cycle comes, and then you count Shiva Nakiyim. You're finished. It's such a shita. No, it's finished. Finished. That's such a shita. And there's a machlokes Prisha and Bach. And I saw in the Kiddush Shulchan Aruch, it brings in the Shoret Zonim V'Alocha that the Chaznish was makel about this. The Sheilos, how does the Alter Rebbe hold about this? So
maybe the Olam is unfamiliar with the whole background to the chiyuv for the bedika.
Okay, so this week's Parsha, it says in the Pasuk, "V'zhartem es bnei Yisrael metumasa." We're looking inside. We're looking into the second thing. "V'zhartem es bnei Yisrael metumasa." Look in the tshuva. Isa the Gemara. It says in the Gemara, "His hartam is bnei Yisrael metumasa." Second paragraph. Yeah, second to last. His hartam is bnei Yisrael metumasa. You should give a special azorah for the Eden from the Indian of Tuma. Amekan Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah said, from here we learn azorah of bnei Yisrael. It's a special azorah for the Eden. She'ifreshu min saying that they should abstain from their wives samuch levest and close to the time of the vesses. The kama amarava oina one oina. Okay, so most shittas hold that this is a din derabonon. It's cross a smachta ma'alma. So basically, let's talk about this. So there is a concept of vesses. A woman has a vesses. There's a vesses kavua, a vesses reina kavua. And the time that you expect that the cycle should start.
So the same day as the last one.
So it could be a chodesh or it could be a floga. But besides these two, there is a oina beinanis, which is we'll talk about the lumdus of it, which is day 30. Day 30, which is, if she saw it on a Sunday, 4 weeks later on a Monday. That's the way the Alter Rebbe Paskins. I mean, there's a machlok was day 30,
Which
but
is 30 days from that.
30 days. Shloshim elam et chilas el chilas el beis machlal. Sheros av ech b'Shabbos dark alach zav liv beis Shabbos. No, oina beinanis. This is oina beinanis. Everyone, and the din of oina beinanis for every woman is as if it was a veses kavua. So the difference of a veses kavua sheina kavua is like this: that either way, she's not allowed to be with her husband on that. And the difference is that a veses kavua, if she didn't check, she has to check. But if she didn't check, if it's a kavua, okay, so check. But if it's a kavua,
when you say energy, meaning but the evidence they found out afterwards.
Yeah, she forgot to do a bedika on that
and then
day.
They had relations.
No.
You said if she forget they're allowed.
They're allowed to. Yeah, she doesn't have to do any bedika. Once the day's over, she doesn't have to do bedika.
The ladies who lost their cycle?
No, this doesn't apply.
Cycle.
Once a lady loses a cycle, this is not negaya. Totally not negaya. Once she loses, there's no vestas. Once a woman loses her cycle, even if it happens once she sees, it's over. It's all over. But those halachas that we have to deal with separately. How you ascertain that she becomes a skena? Once she has a din of skena, all the vestas are out. All the din of vestas for a woman that's actively having constantly a cycle. So over there we say that there is a vestas sheina kavua, a woman that doesn't have a chazaka of 3 times for a specific day. And there is a veses kavua, and the difference is that a veses sheina kavua, if the day goes by and she forgot to do a bedika, she didn't check herself, so we say she's muta to be with her husband. But a veses kavua, if she didn't check that day, she has to check the next day. Okay. Now, oina beinis, the din is oina beinis for every woman is ironclad. For every woman, oina beinis is like a veses kavua. So if she didn't check on day 30, she checks on day 31, 32, but oina beinis is kavua. So the shaila here was that there's a woman that she had oina beinis. So whatever, say she saw on a Sunday, 4 weeks later on a Monday, she forgot to check, and now she called, it was on a Tuesday, and she said that she already took a bath. And she heard that there's a problem once you take a bath. It's true. There are shittas that hold that once you take a bath, finish. There's no bedika. No bedika is going to help now because maybe there was
Not a shower, a bath.
A bath. Shower.
But if you go to the mikveh after, she took a bath.
Yeah.
You can go to
The mikveh. By the time she go to mikveh, it's all over anyway, because it's day 31. So she's going to now count 5 days. Do a hefsek tire and count 7 days. You tell me she's not going to see her new cycle yet? That means she went to the moon. I mean, which woman has a cycle which is 55 days or something like that? But if she starts now counting, she's wasting her time. Because she's going to see down at day 35, 36. How big can a cycle be already? Day 37, she's going to see down.
What if she's embarrassed?
Oh, so if she's muberes, yeah, then she should do it right away. And this woman wasn't muberes. Okay, yeah, exactly. So then, well, I don't want to talk about muberes. I don't want to talk about muberes. Then once you're certain she's muberes, all the vestas go out the window.
And she's not going to have that to 30, 60 days either.
Yeah, forget about it. I don't want to talk about muberes.
Not shy.
Yeah, not shy. Okay, so this is a bataka machloikis. Bottom line is that. So I found a beautiful article in Ayagel Torah, but I just mask him Askoma Gemura. He says such a big chiddush the Alter Rebbe would have to say, such a big chumrah. The Alter Rebbe says in Simakuf Pei Dalet that if she didn't boidik, even if it's as man merubah, says the Alter Rebbe, 2-3 days later could still be boidik. So the Alter Rebbe should have said, oh, by the way, but if she sometimes people take a bath within the Zman Merubah. The Alter Rebbe doesn't say that. There's an ayah that you could even take a bath, it doesn't matter. Then he has it's a nice pilpul. He shows that the shitta that holds that once she took a bath, it's all over. Is based on a shaila, 2 stiras in places in Shulchan Aruch, and the Alter Rebbe already answers that stira. So therefore, obviously, the Alter Rebbe doesn't hold of that shitta. But I was thinking, what's taka the lomdus here? of this machloikis. So before that, just one more very important nakuda, which I realized. I recently, Chosson was talking to me, and he was asking me about this, and I see that there's a machloikis in Bon Lubavitcher Rabbonim about when you're supposed to do the bedika of oina beinanis. So I'm not going to tell you the shitta that I think is wrong. I'm going to tell you right away the shitta that I think is absolutely emes v'yatzav and nochem, and I don't see any other way to do it. And it's also the simplest formula, and there's no, and it's foolproof. Foolproof. In other words, it's simple. The Alter Rebbe says, Lakabi, every time a woman has to check, look at the one paragraph before the end, the last line. That you have to check b'shas haveses. Now, when should a woman check? So, Lama Zogan, she sees on a day in the Chodesh, she sees 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So next month, on that day of the Chodesh, say it was Beis Nissen, she sees 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Lachatchila, Beis Ear, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, she should make a bedika, or 3, 4, 5, but not before. She should make the bedika at that time, at 2 o'clock, or later on that oina.
But you have to do again for Shkia?
No.
One, not two.
1, not 2.
That's a Das Yochid?
That's Alter Rebbe Shitta.
Yeah, the Das Yochid.
No, well, a lot of shit is all that way. The Chavas Das has a very chumradik shitta for Gabi Oina Beinanis. He holds that she has to have, best thing is she have a Meichdoch the whole 24 hours, and if not, you should be two bedikas, one right away and one right before Shkia.
One right away, then at night?
In other words, 2 o'clock. Say she sees.
Oh, this at this 8
right,
Shas.
right, and one right before Shkia. That's what the Chavas Das holds. But I think the Alter Rebbe doesn't hold of that. Why? Because the Alter Rebbe is not machalak. The Alter Rebbe just says b'pashtus. He says that livdik atzmal chatchila b'shas v'esas oy acher v'oysa oyna.
That's Ena Kavur. He's not talking about Ena Kavur, right?
Over there he's talking about Ena Kavur. But I want to explain to you now why I think that the Alter Rebbe holds it always.
But an honor business is also for the owners, the day and the night.
Right. Right. So, but
she-
Gabi the bedika, always a woman has to know one simple rule. Gabi bedika, lanius dait according to the Alter Rebbe. Whenever you saw the dam, that time or later, whenever she saw the dam or that time, so if she saw l'gabi chodesh, l'gabi afloga, l'gabi oina beinis, everything. The last period, what time did you see the dam? 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So for all 3 vestas, which is vestas achodesh and vestas afloga and oina beinis, next month, say you saw it 2 o'clock in the afternoon, check at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As long as you check from that time until Shkia l'chatchila, and b'diavad, if it's oina beinis, even after Shkia, that oina. But if it's oina beinis, even after, you could still do it. Okay, so now I want to explain an Indian very, very choshev.
I'm sorry. Wouldn't she know after 3 hours? Let's say she went until right before Shkia, and you can't check any longer if it's.
No, she could check. She could check afterwards, but she's not mechuyev to check. If it's Ena Kavua, l'chatchila she has to check from that time to. What's Kavua?
Yeah.
If l'chatchila she should check. If not, she could do it tomorrow too. She could do it tomorrow too.
Okay.
But the thing is that
she had done the day of the Chodesh.
That's the problem. That's
So
why the Prisha holds.
Why can't you do it right before Shkia and know that you'll know if 5 hours lapsed, there would still be dam there, wouldn't there?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
She could still
She could
check
still
before
do
Shkia.
it. She could still do it.
But
The
not
holidays.
before, not earlier.
Yeah, not before the time. In other words, if she saw on a day at 2 o'clock, and next month, Vesachayda, she's going to check 1 o'clock.
Right, that's no good.
That's no good. You have to check from the time and after the time.
And after till Shkia.
Till Shkia. Now, if Shkia comes and she still didn't check, so if it's a Eina Kavua, she's parted from the Bedika. But if it's a Kavua, she's chayiv to do Bedika, and a Oina Bendis is always considered like a Kavua, so even after Shkia, she's chayiv. Even if it's 3 days later, she has to do Bedika, otherwise she can't be with her husband.
Right. But that Bedika is matter to go to the mikveh.
Well,
So when she does that Bedika.
why would she want to go to the mikveh now?
No, it's that
She didn't see down. It's 30 days. She didn't see any
right,
down.
she has to do Bedikas to go.
Why?
To have Sekarim, saying.
Why should
I mean,
they
to
have
do
Sekarim? She didn't see down yet. We're talking she didn't see down. Say a woman that she
Okay.
usually goes 35, 36 days.
Right.
There are women that have a long cycle.
Right.
So Oina Beinix comes, she forgot to check on that day, but her husband didn't, well, they weren't together. But now it's day 33, she still didn't see Dam, but she remembers that she didn't do Bedika on day 30, so she does Bedika now, and she's allowed to be with her husband, it's not a problem. Now, Elamai, some shit is old, if she took a bath in between, she ruined it. And so the Alter
She
Rebbe,
doesn't be able to do it the next day.
she can't do it
But she
anymore.
ruined the whole 30 days.
Yeah, that's it. She ruined it. Now she has to, because
What do we say? We're afraid that it could be that she saw down and it was all washed away
Right,
by the bath.
right,
Even though she didn't have a heritage or anything.
right. That's what the Prisha holds.
Oh, it's confusing.
That's very, very chumradik and very confusing. Right. So now, okay. So here, let's read inside. True. Isa b'gemara again. Izartum is b'nei Yisrael b'tumasam. Amar of Yirmi Azar of b'nei Yisrael she'yifrishu minishay saying Somuch levestam v'kam amarava oina. That from this week's parsha we learn that the Yidden have to be careful when it comes to the tumah. So because a woman saw dam, we don't know what triggers the dam to come, but we know there's certain triggers. It might be the moon, which is Veses HaChodesh. It might be the Haflaga, or there's a concept of Oina Beininus, which is that Oilam like Tira, the woman's never going to see. And we say the regular cycle should be no more than 30 days. So when it comes day 30, so therefore she has to be Poidish from her husband. Plus, Chazal made of Bechiyu Bedika, two things. They said it's Isa Frisha and Bechiyu Bedika. Kama Rabbi Yirmi Azor of Bnei Yisrael Shenifru Shemanish Yisrael Sam Levesam Kama Merava Oina. Shulchan Aruch Harav Simeku Peteset Kot Nalef. Alter Rebbe comes up with sometimes such chedushim that it's interesting. Yeah, whatever kedarkim shalpoiskim that no one ever thought of. And he says like this: Yesh Aimrim Shalihusker Oina Beininus Elul Inyan Bediko Tvia She'oser Lov Ela Achit Be'ena V'Tidbak Atzma V'Shagir Yom Oina Shem Lamed V'Tchilas Riyasa V'Im Loi Bot Ka'atzma B'Yom Oina Tzrich Livdek Achikach Pam Achas Kodim Shem Ela Aval Idei Bediko Moteres Afilu B'Yom Oina V'Eina Tzrich Lifresh Mebayla U'La'alocha Ein Lanu Ela Divrei Shulchan Aruch. Which is an unbelievable chiddush, and the Alter Rebbe spends a long kuntas achron to establish his chiddush. All the poskim know that this avesis is avesis is avesis. Avesis means two things. She's not allowed to be with her husband. A. B. She has to do bedika. Alter Rebbe's mechiach bechochas gemuris that only one tradition holds that way. The Rashba, and that all over the Shonim hold that no, oina beininus is not avesis. There's two triggers that a woman might have, which is Veses HaChodesh or the Haflaga. Oina Beininus is a different thing, the Alter Rebbe says. Oina Beininus is like this. We say a woman has a Cheskes Tara. But then, will she forever not see? On day 30, she loses her Cheskes Tara. So she sees Dam on a Sunday. 4 weeks later on a Monday, she loses the Cheskes Tara. How does she bring back the Cheskes Tara? She has to make a Bedika. She doesn't have to be punished with Ba'ila B'chlal. She doesn't have to be punished for Ba'ila. And the Alter Rebbe says that when he proves Beichochas Gemura that Rashi holds and Tosfos holds that way and that Ramban holds that way on Nasof Rayas, irrefutable Rayas. At the end, the Alter Rebbe says, but La'alocha, we're like the Shulchan Aruch. But why is it negayah to go through the whole exercise? Because if you have a Shaila,
It'd be the Evan.
right. That's exactly it, the evidence. So, but I think the Nakuda here, or the Machlokes between the Rishonim is like this: that Rashi and the Ramban and Tosfos said, the Gemara says, so the Pshat is she has a Cheskes Tara. After 30 days, you have to do Bedika to bring back the Cheskes Tara. The Rashba says, no, he understood that day 30 is like an Oina. We think it's a trigger to... Okay, so therefore, what's the difference? I would say that the difference would also be Lagabe a few things. Lagabe taking a shower. This would be maybe also a difference.
As opposed to a bath, you mean?
Take a bath. I meant to take a bath. If you say that the Chiyuv Bedika is in order to bring back the Cheskes Tahara, I'm talking Lagabe Oina Beininus. If you're saying the whole thing of the Bedika is to bring back the Cheskes Tahara, so who cares that she took a bath in between? She has to do a Bedika to bring back the Cheskes Tahara.
And if she did take, if she took a bath, she can still do it.
She can still do it. She just has to bring back her Cheskes Tahara. We say a woman has a Cheskes Tahara in less than 30 days. And after 30 days, she loses a Cheskes Tahara. So when she does a Bedika, she brings back the Cheskes Tahara. Who cares that she took a bath? She can take 5 baths in between. But if you say that you suspect that she sees down, and she has to check, So she didn't check, and she took a bath. What do you mean? She might have lost it. She probably saw dam, and she lost it somewhere in the bathtub. She didn't notice, and it went away with the water in the bathtub.
But women are very icky. If they see anything in the bath, they didn't take bubble baths in those days. They took regular baths. Miss Toma, she was such a mashu.
Yeah.
That's it. Since it's just even a tipa, right? Even a mashu.
Right, because they were choshish for a tipas dam. So
anyway, is she the rice that they can need it? If any even
no, it's all the rabbanon.
So then it's a shvus to shvus.
Why is that shvus?
Because even if there was, let's say, even if there was a tipas dam that she never did a b'dika, she would be a nida. And now that she took a bath, anyway, she's not a nida.
You have to no.
Right, I'm saying, but
check,
it's like
What they saying is below her.
yeah, it was on Hegish. It's one. It's a chiv, and the rabbanon made it very strict.
right.
The rabbanon
She forgot.
okay.
So now the rabbanon did another thing. They did two things. Number one, they say that you have to have a hegesh to be a nida. Number two, they say you have to do a bedik on Beinani, on the day of Beinani.
Right.
So here's two things. The day of Beinani, she also was over on.
Yeah, but the shaila is how strong did the rabbanon say it? Could be the pshat is that rabbanon said we think that on day 30 you're going to see. You took a bath. Well, we know where the dam is. It's in, you didn't look.
No, but
good.
it's not a chazaka that she has done. So it's like we go bust a roy, like a single go. We go bust a roy to the evid, and then also inside the day.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying probably the other poskim are going to say the Maisa. I think.
You're saying sometimes they're sort of their abundance, right? And that we don't say.
Right. They say
we don't
that
say
we consider as if she saw the dam. So,
Right.
Lamaisa. Let's summarize. If a woman has to do a bedika and didn't do a bedika, it's very clear that she could still do bedika. Chaznish paskel zawei lakula, and it seems very clear in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. If a woman had oina beinus, she didn't check. She could check 2-3 days later too, even if she took a bath in between. And a woman has to check always in the time of the veses or afterwards, even when it comes to an oina beinus. One more shayla someone asked, which is the woman you're not supposed to give matonis in the time of nidus. And the person asked, could he give her for Yochanan Yom Tov a matona?
The husband.
Yeah, the husband, if he can give her matona.
Oh.
So the emphasis is like this. Look in the last paragraph.
What about if a woman comes to Matan Zavyonim?
No, that's only for a husband and his wife.
Okay.
Because
it's
only key, right. So the last paragraph. Adova ben Idosa, the Shaila, Imut Elotzes Matona L'Koved Achag Nishta. Yida Tshuva. Pasuk B'Shulchan Aruch here today, it's some kufts on the case of Yud Gimel. Afilu l'shloich l'koy shel yain oser, loish l'koy shel bracha, loish l'koy acher imu meyuchid lo. You're not allowed to give her a koy shel bracha. Why? Because that might create a certain closeness, and then the day that a woman is in the days that a woman is asur l'bayla, Chazal made a whole set of rules in order to keep them separate. Because if they can eat,
can't you put it close, like not away from her? You let her give her kiddush, you just don't put it down in front of her.
right?
You put it down, she takes it.
Make a mechitza.
No, mechitza. You're allowed to give her one. She tries to take it. You can't give it to her.
You can give her
No,
and
because if
Put it
it's
down.
a kois, you
Put it
shouldn't
over
give because it's your kois and it's also for the family. But you're not supposed to take a kois which is miyuchid lo and fill it up. And even if you're not going to put it in her hand, a kois which is miyuchid lo.
Wow.
So yeah, that's it. Afilu shloich li kois shel yain oser loish na kois shel bracha loish na kois acher im miyuchid lo.
Wow.
I don't know.
You're saying it's not so positive as the actual kois.
Right. I wonder. I don't know because I don't see people should be.
Because
so
she's not allowed to drink your shirai. So you make kiddush.
She's allowed.
Okay, it could
She's
be,
a
but
need,
not
but
to
she's
give
not
her.
allowed to drink your shirai.
She is. She's allowed to drink
Nida?
Yerushalayim. Yeah. She's allowed to drink Yerushalayim, but not.
It's not putting it in front of her.
Right.
That's giving it.
That makes you a rabbi.
Right.
That makes you a rabbi.
But you're not allowed to finish
That makes
hers,
you
right?
But
No,
the
she
drink
can't be
is right.
moisig. If you can't, you could finish hers. It's fine. But she can't pour it for you. But you can't share a kois. But once you finish, I don't want to coffee anymore.
Right, you're not allowed to drink her shirai.
I'm done. Finished. Finito. She puts it the other side of the table. You could have it. But here we're talking about that he's giving kois amiyuchad law. Now,
It's her cup. It's a drop left. You can take from her.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
If she doesn't
I
want
don't
it
either. I always thought.
I thought you had to put it in another cup.
I thought you're not allowed to drink her leftovers in front of her.
I don't know.
When she leaves the room, you can eat the leftovers. I thought in front of you, you're not allowed to eat the leftovers.
That's what I thought.
This is Koilo.
Exactly.
We're learning.
Exactly. It's been 30 years since I learned it from you.
Refresher course.
I just freshened up Rabbi Blue Kansas book. He has a great book.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
Givaldi.
What's it called?
I haven't read it in a while.
Every year you got in.
He got in now. He still gives out books, right?
Uh-huh.
Like a hedge of roses or something like that.
Yeah.
Something about roses.
Very nice. Important. So,
He was
so.
my wife, Rabbi.
Oh yeah.
From
Very nice.
Farakaway? You watch from Farakaway?
No, but he's taught in proper part.
He's actually, you could actually say he's probably Kaisos Rebbe, because his book is everywhere.
Right,
And he comes from the Lubavitcher family.
Oh, yeah?
He brings down Lubavitcher and Hagam Kesed.
Oh, yeah? So, bottom line. There's bemis a machloikis if this halacha shulchan aruch applies only to kosher bracha or to any
You didn't
matanos.
ask me what his first name
The
was.
Kreisi
He
Plesi
pronounced first name.
brings there's someone that posek that says if a woman touches neither she has a say a feather, whatever, something dirty on her jacket, are you allowed to blow it off, like to go like this, not to touch her, just to go like this or to blow it off? And some places can say even that's also. Crazy Plesi says, are you going to tell me even to give a gift to your wife is also? He says, Loi tesifum pen tigru. He's very sharp. He says, don't add to what the Chacham said that a person is not allowed to have with his wife. It made certain takonas, like when you eat, you're not allowed to eat the same plate, you're not allowed to drink from the same cup, and you have to have a hefsek, v'chulu, v'chulu, all these things. If they put a kan in between, a heker. But to make, who said? The Chazal never said you're not allowed to give a gift to your wife. The other points can say it's awesome. Just like a kosh. Oh, that was a shayla. How about Yom Tov?
That's when she works the hardest, and that's when you really need to give her a gift.
Oh. So it depends. I would say it depends because the shevet that they have here from
maybe it's understood. It's not out here. It's out just as a hakar toiv for killing yourself.
So the shevet that Levi has a thing. He says first of all he's apparently he's a descendant from the Yibberis Naifshin. So he says Yibberis Naifshin said no okay. But anyway, he says even if you want to be machmir, which I think the oilam is a little machmir. Like the other poskim say that tahara, and other big poskim will say that you're not allowed to give a gift in the time of nidus. He says, "B'inyan shluach prochim labayis l'kovet Shabbos kodesh." Yesh lo zamoker v'shas and gemara Shabbos. So he says for sure that's mutter. Anyway, giving I would say flowers of Shabbos for sheitzach mutter. It's not only for your wife; it's on the table. It's l'kovet Shabbos. Yeah. It's for the whole mishpacha.
But she doesn't consider that care.
Yeah, it's one of
right. Okay, but I would say like this, that the cloud vodav is also, it's anything which is not kiruv, which is like this, anything which is expected, which is not b'chlal extra kiruv, or it's a chiyuv. Like the Shulchan Aruch Alter Rebbe says in Simon Tov Kuf Chavtes, Keitzad Masamchon, Noshem Koinal Amigodim, Tachshitim Lefim Amoinu. That is mechuyev to buy his wife tachshitim and begodim based on how much he can afford.
And that simcha doesn't say kiruv.
That's a simcha. It's not kiruv. He's mechayev to be mesameach her.
Right.
That's not an extra kiruv.
And also the Gemara says you have to be oikiris as nishos. And that means that you have to be mechayev. You have to be mechayev your wife all the time. It doesn't say only b'shas. When she's tahara.
Elamai, they probably the pasuk and Ramachim mean an extra unexpected matana. An extra, not the pshat. It's her birthday,
right.
Or it's a shalosh golim, or it's a thing which is right, a special exactly
something that's gonna wow her.
Right, something that's a wow, and it's not expected now. I think fakir if it comes her birthday and she's now punkta nida, and you're not going to give a gift, and the hergel is to give a gift every year. So it's not only there's a lack of kirva here. Now it's a richuk. It's an insult.
Exactly.
It's an insult. It's not the pshat.
You just saving the family for Yom Tov.
Exactly.
It's
not the pshat.
Birthdays. People in English, you can get away with one. So if it's not a one, you can give that one.
I'd say like this.
So you take out the element of surprise. You take it to the Jew.
Or you can give her a.
No, I don't say you have to take out the element of surprise because it's Lepol. This is the chiyuv that a person is mechuyev to do. So what's the difference of a surprise or not surprise? But Lepol, a person knows bedaita, the shaila is in the person's mind. All of a sudden, it creates a certain special chiba. But he knows he's mechuyev. It's a Chag Pesach. He's mechuyev to do it as his says in Shulchan Aruch. It's in Tov Kuf Chavtes in Zayin. So I think even the Madoma that Maton is the plot is also, and as I said, Siddur Tara is very, very important on the Yochas Niddah. He's, aren't you Edom Einikel from the Siddur Tara? Yeah, I think he's from Ari. No, they're not Einikel from the Siddur Tara. They're Yochanan from. We'll find out.
From my family?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he told me. Not from the Siddur Tara. Oh,
and Yaakov isn't
okay. Akaponim, someone told me that they're anical from the Siddur Tana. Siddur Tana is very choshev. His name was Rabbi Yochanan, and he was like, he's one of the he lived in the time of the Alter
Then he
Rebbe.
got a bracha and Rabbi Yochanan specter.
No, but not that Rabbi Yochanan.
What are the best gifts to get?
What are the best gifts? Oh, the best gifts are the gifts that they
The ones that they don't have yet.
What if she doesn't want? She wants to take the money you're going to spend and save it for the future.
Oh, a chachem is
That's a smart one.
No, then you'll.
Serious.
It's only when you give her the last amount that she can go buy the gift. If she's still saving up, then she doesn't
It's
have
not a
that
gift. So what do you get as a backup? I got a little backup gift.
I read somewhere that they don't actually hold that. They don't feel that way. Even though they might say it, they still won't.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, because how do you know? How do you know she needs a brooch or a watch or a ring or a bracelet? You don't know what she wants. I say, you go get what you want.
It's tough.
So I tell her, go get what you want. I don't know what you want.
This is never good.
That's a good point what you're saying. You're saying it's the thought that you went out and got it for her.
That's right.
I like that. But you know what you can do? You can say, like, there's no way I could possibly adequately express my love with the right gift.
That's a good one.
You buy it, and you know it came from my hard work.
Here's my credit card.
Right? Exactly. This is worth more than a diamond.
And a credit card cuts off at $99.
Why don't you wait a second? Why don't you do like this? If she's gonna be ice needed in 10 days, get her a 10-day treasury note.
Depends how big the note
Get a
is.
10-day treasury note. No,
Depends how big the note is.
It expires in 15 days.
If the note is $10, don't get it.
They don't sell $10 treasury notes.
I know. So,
It's like a minimum buy.
bottom line, Saka Machloikis, if you can give matonas, those that say the Rabbi Yochanan says no. When the Chachamim said you can't eat from the same plate, you can't drink this, you have that. This is what they said. You can't give a kosher bracha because it's a special thing. You will of wine. Don't make your own zayis. Others say no. We see from here the general attitude not to have things that bring a closeness, and therefore you shouldn't buy gifts. Lamaisa, I think that when a gift is expected, and you're not going to give a gift, the woman will be insulted. That's not what the poskim were talking about. They were talking about a gift that's unexpected. Stamazoi, that she didn't deserve it. B'chlal about giving gifts. My favorite Torah that I like to say for Sheva Brachas. You could, if you tell it over, don't tell it over b'shem Omrei. Make it your own Torah. Be koinet. Look it up in the Gemara. I'm telling you, it's gewaldig.
I would call it maybe Google later.
Nah, don't worry. Make it your koinet. Look in the Gemara. Make it your own. Make it your own Torah.
So say it with someone else who was at this year.
No. Make it your own Torah.
So like when they say the rabbi told me to do this, it becomes a chiyuv now.
Yeah, it's not good. So the Gemara says like this. The Rebbe quotes it. I have even a ksav yad. Unbelievable. The Rebbe used to quote this a lot of times. The Rebbe said that look in the Gemara in the Baba Metzora, Daf Nun Tes Amud Beis, and the Alter Rebbe brings the Halacha beferish Shulchan Aruch. Omar Rav l'bnei Mechuza. Rav said l'bnei Mechuza. Kabdu n'shesechem. Give cover to your wives. Kedei shetisashu. If you give cover to your wives, you become wealthy. That's what the Gemara says. In Baba Metzora.
Very big Miller's favorite line.
Yeah.
All the time he says it. All the time.
And the Gemara says. And the Gemara says that Avram hated Bavura. That it's a play on words. Avram hated Bavura. That Avram became wealthy Bavura in the schus of Sora Yemenu.
The Gemara says all the person's wealth comes from his wife.
From his schus's wife. That's an unbelievable thing. And the Rebbe quotes it a lot of times. The Rebbe says that this is mamish b'poel mamish. I have a raya mefureshes in the Gemara that it works. How do I know? Because if you go in the Gemara Baba Kama, the last daf, the Gemara Baba Kama, the Gemara says that ein mekabel men anoshim elo davar mu'at. If a person goes collecting tzedakah and he knocks on the door and the woman comes and brings him $10,000, also to take it, it's gneva.
It's not hers.
It's not hers. But if she brings a davar mu'at, she brings him $1 or $2, he's allowed to take it. The Gemara asks the Shaila that the Ravin himself came to the city of Mechuza, and the women they gave him big, thick gold chains, and they also gave him diamonds, and he took it from them, and they from the women. How you talking a chutzpah? It's geneva. The Gemara says, Shani b'nei Mechuza, the Mechuza different, they're filthy rich. They don't care. The women give away a chain. They buy them again. A machaya. They want to give another birthday gift of Esther Satan. They're happy the women gave away the gold chain.
Where was this, in South Africa?
Mechuza.
Was that in South Africa?
I don't know. It's somewhere next to
Somebody
Mechuzah, somewhere.
near
some-
Pumbedisa.
Exactly. So you know what? You see from here that Mechuzah worked, because if you look in the Bava Metzora, Rava spoke to the Bnei Mechuzah, and he said, "Treat your wife nicely, and you'll become wealthy." Zetman, that it works. They became wealthy, and not only that, they were giving away big chains that stuck in the husband said, "I didn't know what to do for your birthday."
Lahavdil, Warren Buffett showed up in the town. Of course, you're gonna give him Warren Buffett. Lahavdil. He was the guru. They knew he was the guru
No, but I'm saying
for investing. I'm saying the Rav was the one who taught this.
right. So they knew.
So they
this
knew
is the good.
it's the best investment.
Exactly. And the wife is giving it, and she's giving it beleif toiv.
Yeah.
And the husband says gesundheit and gesundheit. And they realize that. So we see that taket this works. So Memela, you should. We're coming close to Chag HaPesach. Don't think that anything that any matoni you buy for your wife is it's a good investment, because Rava Befedish says that this investment brings you back return on the money.
Go ahead.